How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to 1 to 5. Now, in the last episode, we got through up to tier 2. We haven't done anything past that, and we spoke about the boot camp and stuff like that, and just kind of the early stuff of creating the account and whatnot. Now we're going to be talking about free XP, saving your credits, your gold, and stuff like that, and how I would use them, and also moving up to hopefully tier 3, maybe even tier 4. But the first thing that I want to say is the battle pass is going on, and if you do create a new account and the battle pass is active, you can get a free camo out of any of these for the completion of the first stage. So that means that if you click on any of these and then hover over this, you will get this camo given to you, and you can just put it on. Usually you can put it on any tank. Yeah, it says for all vehicles. So we will be doing that. I like the camo that you get given here. So we're going to go and activate, and then what will happen is, one, we get an E4 style. Whether or not you want to grind down that tank line is up to you. So that might be useful to you. You can also get a Cran and also the Leo. But the main one is that we get some styles, and we get this given to us for free. So just by playing the game, we will accumulate battle pass points, and then we'll get this style. Hopefully we should get it in this episode. But if we go to the research, you'll see that where we last left off, we did get the gun, and now we are on our way to getting the tracks, and most importantly, the engine. Because if we get these two, and then you can kind of get the turret and the other gun if you really want to. But I would recommend that you do fully max it out, because it just makes it a little bit easier. However, I'm not a brand new player, and I'm also not learning the game, and I'm trying to do this as quickly as I possibly can, just to condense this little mini series that I'm doing into as little episodes as possible and as little time as possible. So I would recommend that you fully max this out and learn the game along the way. But in my case, I am going to be trying to get this. If I unlock this, we'll have to see. It depends on how much XP I get. Now, that being said, I did just go ahead and purchase a day of premium, because other people would have that, and I would have had that if I had my bonus code, because I would have had 7 days of premium if the bonus code actually worked. So I don't think that's too much of a big deal, as everyone's going to have that. I'm actually at a disadvantage because for some reason it just didn't work. And also I can't complete the boot camp, which is fun. So as I said, I'm trying to do this as limited number of episodes and time as possible to condense this down for you. So let's go and play a game in the Panzer II, and I will see you once that's over. Oh, that's pretty nice. Well, I'll confirm my email. I've done that. There you go. Always confirm your email. And we can also apply this as a bonus, because not only will it then affect the actual XP that we have, it also affects the crew. A lot of people don't think about that. They just think, oh yeah, more XP. It will go into the crew as well. And now we can fully upgrade this thing. And I think we will. I think that we will. And we'll play probably 1 or so games with it. I mean, to be fair, because we've got so much XP, we could actually do both. What we're not going to do, though, is use up our free XP. Because obviously we did get some free XP out of that. So we still have 1,100 combat XP, but we're going to save all of our convert free XP at the top right here. And we will obviously buy the tracks, the engine, we'll get the gun, and we will get the turret as well. Then that way, this thing is fully upgraded. And we'll do maybe like 100 rounds for 40,000, just in case, because this gets, what's the penetration? 51. So that's actually pretty decent. And do we have a camo yet? Nope, not yet. We are still 30 points. So the only way that we can actually do that at the moment is by earning points through the missions, I believe. When we complete these missions, we earn some battle pass points, because the battle pass is only available for tier 6 to 10. So we obviously won't earn any just for playing the game, but we will earn some through the missions. So we're going to play one more game in the Panzer II, and then we should be able to move up to tier 3. Alright, so we've done quite well in that game. We got nearly to 1.2k actually. We are not going to apply this because we've already got more than enough XP that we need for the tank. So we can unlock this. And then this will make sure that it goes into an elite tank. And then what you could do from here is that you could then just go and accelerate crew training and turn that on. And then you can build up the crew to where they get to 100% again. And then do exactly the same thing what I did with the tier 1. Buy the tier 3 tank, which we're going to do now. So I need to actually get a garage slot. So what we can do is just sell a tier 1 from the garage that we're not going to go down. Let's do the Italian one. And importantly, send this to barracks so that you can still have a crew if you need it. And then we can go and buy the Panzer IIIe. And we set as primary. So now we have the Panzer IIIe, and you'll see that the crew has actually changed quite a bit. So from here now, we can send to barracks. We can then install our Panzer II crew as much as we can. There we go. And what we'll do is just retrain them for free. Don't need to do anything. And we'll go for a 50% crew there and a 50% crew there. So yes, the crew isn't great at this stage, but we have upgraded to tier 3. And we can then also use our free XP that we have accumulated to go and get some of the upgrades that we might need. Now, if you don't have the upgrades, then obviously you're just going to have to play the tank as it is until so much as you do get enough XP to get the upgrades. But this is what I would say spend your free XP on. The upgrades for the tanks, especially dumping it into the tracks so that the tracks can then get the turret. Because once you get the turret, you then have a whole host of different things that you can do. So usually you need to upgrade the turret to get onto the next gun or the top gun for the tank. So it is important that you get the tracks, because without the tracks, sometimes you won't be able to put equipment on the tank, but you might be able to put, say, the turret on it, but no equipment. Or even if you put equipment on the tank and then you don't get the tracks and then you buy the turret, you can't put the turret on the tank without the tracks. So it's important that you get the tracks first, usually. You can check. When we hovered over this, it lit up down here in red saying that we need to get the tracks before we can actually mount this. So it's important that you look at that and make sure that you understand it. What we're going to do is this a good gun? That's actually a really nice gun. So we are going to get that as well. And we will mount this on it. And we have 900 XP. We could go and get the radios and stuff like that, but I'm going to use just solely XP from the tank to get them, rather than kind of waste our free XP. Let that build up a little bit more for when we get on the Panzer IIIJ, because we are going to need obviously XP for the guns on this as well. Now, this is a more standard kind of loadout for a tank. It is going to be AP, APCR, and HE. I wouldn't recommend you take any HE at the low tiers because it's only got 25 pen. Although, I guess 25 pen isn't too bad for some vehicles, but it's probably just not worth taking. Take mostly AP and then a little bit of APCR and you should be good. Now moving up to tier 3, we do have the opportunity to mount a medkit on the tank, or you could go for a fire extinguisher. It's down to you. I would probably recommend you go for medkit because it's probably the most important thing that you can have to get your crew members back if one of them does go down. And again, equipment, I wouldn't bother wasting credits on the equipment down at this tier. Wait until you get to at least tier 5 or tier 6 and then mount your equipment. Now, the last thing to do, if you're not going to play this tank ever again, so I know for a fact that I'm never going to play the Panzer II again, I can sell this thing. Just sell it. If you're not going to play it, sell it. As you go up to the tier, you buy a new tier, sell the previous tier, so that you can then, one, afford the next tank in the line, and also you get your garage slot back. So you could use that garage slot as the tank that you already had. So go into here, make sure you sell everything. Might as well send the repair kits or any consumables that you have to the depot because you're going to be using them anyway. So sell there. And now we do have one more vacant slot. So we are now down to the tier 3 and the tier 1, which the tier 1 we're probably never really going to play again. So we could sell it as we have mastered it, but you don't get anything for selling it other than a garage slot. So only really sell them unless you need it. So now let's go ahead and play a game in the Panzer IIIe, and then hopefully we can get some XP and work our way towards the tier 4. Well, we get our first loss on the account. Our team didn't know how to shoot a Panzer IIJ. I forgot those things existed. So not too good, the first game. We get 400 XP, and we can't do anything with that, so we're going to play again. There we go, and we won a game. So we can apply that, and that does mean that we can now go to the tier 4. Pretty decent so far, actually. We can apply that. Now, one thing to do before we go on to the next vehicle is to have a look at what radios and engines that you can get on this tank, and if any of them can be moved onto the next tank. So that way, let's say the Fug 7, yes, we can get that on this tank. The SPR1, no. What about the engines? You could just hover over this and it will, or sorry, click the characteristics and it will tell you. So it will be on the Panzer, so we're looking for the Panzer IIIJ. We're on the Panzer IIIE at the moment, so yes, Panzer IIIJ and also Panzer IIIJ. So we could unlock the top engine. We won't bother with the radio, that's fine, but that means that we now have over here the top engine on this tank when we next get it, and we should have nearly enough to get the tracks. Obviously that's probably going to be one game or so of the Panzer IIIJ. That is something that you can have a little look at and see if it's something that is going to be helping you out. So always look on the previous modules before you move up to the next tank, because you could save yourself some time in that respect, especially if you've accumulated quite a bit of XP on that tank. But what we're going to do is sell the current tank and send the crew to barracks. And yep, that can go into the depot and 620 and sell. Then we go to tech tree, go to the Panzer IIIJ, purchase without crew. We now have that. We can go and find it, set as primary, and we can put in our crew that we just had into that tank. And we click retrain for free. And there we go. We've got 50% crew. I know it's not great, but it's better than nothing. Now, obviously, it does get more expensive as you go up in the tiers. Because, I mean, how much was that? That was 138k, so quite expensive to go up to tier 4. It's just one of those things that you need to work out. And we can actually grab the engine straight away, which is a good thing. And we should be able to put this gun on it. Nice. So we should be able to put this gun also on the tank without needing the turret. And here you go. You can see what I mean. When we hover over the turret, it hovers down or selects down here saying you need the tracks. Now I don't have quite enough and I'd need to use gold, but I'm not going to use gold on converting XP. And now, as you can see, we do have 3 slots here. Obviously I can't afford it because I'm down to basically no credits, and we can't actually afford a full ammunition loadout, but we're never really going to fire that many shells anyway. So I'm not too worried about that. And it's just playing a few more games. Just play a few more games and you'll accumulate some money, and then you can afford to, you know, purchase the rest. At this low tier, I would recommend a manual fire extinguisher rather than automatic, unless you have a lot of credits. If you have like over 100k, then just put this on, because it's going to decrease the chance of fire all the time by 10%. If you don't have a lot of credits, then don't break the bank putting an automatic fire extinguisher on it. Okay, that is tier 4 done. And with that, the end of this episode. So we spoke through what we spend the free XP on, what we spend or how we transfer the crews a little bit more, also the consumables and stuff like that. In the final episode, which will be tomorrow, we will speak through the journey up to tier 5, obviously, because this is going to be from tier 4 to 5. And we'll also be discussing our journey on past tier 5, although I won't be actually making any videos on it because it is just 1 to 5. But hopefully you did enjoy. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next episode.